For what feels like forever, the crypto world has been stuck in this thick fog of regulatory uncertainty. But it looks like that's finally changing. The SEC is actually rewriting the rules of the game. So today, we're going to break down their brand new playbook and what it really means for the future of digital assets here in the US. So this is the big question, isn't it? Have we been living in total chaos, or are we finally moving towards some clarity? For a long time, the answer was pretty obvious: chaos. Let's get into why. To really get how big of a deal this change is, we've got to look back at the old way of doing things. It's a strategy that most people now just call regulation by enforcement. I want you to imagine trying to build a business, but the rules only become clear after you've already been punished for breaking them. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that was the reality. This whole approach created this landscape of legal quicksand that basically scared away innovators and kept a lot of serious investors sitting on the sidelines. But now, things are changing. We are at a major turning point. The SEC is signaling a really fundamental shift in its whole philosophy. They're moving away from just punishing people and moving toward actually giving guidance so everyone can follow the rules from the get-go. Let's think of it like this. The old way was like a chaotic intersection with no traffic lights, no stop signs, just constant crashes. This new philosophy is all about installing clear rules of the road. The goal isn't just to hand out tickets, but to finally define what red, yellow, and green actually mean in the world of digital assets. So who's behind this massive shift? Well, it's all being driven by new leadership. You've got Chairman Paul Actons at the helm, and you've got Commissioner Hester Pierce, who's been a huge advocate for crypto clarity for years, now heading up a brand new crypto task force. The institution itself is basically saying, okay, we're ready to be more innovation-friendly. Now, at the very heart of this entire conversation is one key concept: tokenization. It's really just the process of converting the rights to a real-world asset, think a share of stock or even a piece of real estate, into a digital token that lives on a blockchain. Understanding this is absolutely critical because the SEC's entire new playbook is being built around it. Okay, so what's actually in this new playbook? Let's break down the concrete strategy and see what's coming down the pike. The whole strategy really rests on four main pillars. First, there is Project Crypto, which is all about bringing traditional markets onto the blockchain. Then you have Safe Harbors, which will give new networks a kind of grace period to grow without constantly looking over their shoulder. There's also an innovation exemption to actively encourage people to experiment. And finally, industry engagement, making sure the SEC is actually listening to the builders through nationwide roundtables. And they're not being vague about it either. They're getting super specific. We're talking about frameworks for tokenized stocks and bonds. And they're tackling the really complex stuff like DeFi, that's decentralized finance, and self-custody, where you actually control your own assets. They're also bringing clarity to network stuff like staking and mining. And this is a big one. They want to make it possible for different asset types to trade on a single unified platform. And this isn't just wishful thinking. There's an actual, clear timeline here. The whole process is set to kick off with those nationwide roundtables in late 2025. Proposed rules will drop in early 2026, which then leads to a public comment period. And the goal, a pretty ambitious one, is to have final regulatory clarity locked in by the end of 2026. Now, what's really crucial here is that the SEC isn't trying to do this alone. This is a coordinated effort with Congress, pushing brand new legislation like the Genius and Clarity Acts. And the goal of these acts is pretty simple: to finally draw clear lines in the sand between agencies like the SEC and the CFTC, so we have one unified approach from the whole government. Okay, so we've seen the plan. We know the what, the who, the when. But why does any of this matter? Let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture and the potential market impact of this whole new playbook. The ambition behind all of this is, well, it's massive. The stated goal is nothing less than making the US the crypto capital of the world. So you see, this isn't just about writing some new rules. It's a huge strategic push to lead the next era of finance. So how is this clarity supposed to help them do that? Well, it's expected to have three really key impacts. First and foremost, it's about calming market fears. Second, it's about finally unlocking the door for big institutions that have been waiting on the sidelines for clear rules. And third, it's about creating safer, more regulated ways for everyday retail investors to get involved. When you boil it all down, the foundation of this entire strategy is a modern, flexible framework. It's risk-based, which means it protects investors without totally killing innovation, and it's also technologically neutral. It's not designed to pick winners, but to be able to handle both the new world of decentralized finance and the established traditional models. Which, of course, brings us to the final big question. For years, all this uncertainty has really held the US back in the global competition for crypto innovation. But now, with a clear playbook finally starting to take shape, the question isn't if the rules are coming anymore. It's can this new clarity actually help the US win the global crypto race? That's what we'll all be watching.